evening, everybody, and welcome to the Community Matters Committee meeting, Wednesday, 27th of November at 7:30. Just a few bits of formality, really, I guess, to start. We're not expecting any fire alarms this evening, so if we do hear the alarm, it'll be an exit. So we've got a fire exit just behind you, or the stairs here, and we collate ourselves over in the Folk Hall car park, and Wendy, as our Fire Marshal, will usher us all out in the appropriate manner. Yep, so apologies for absence. So we've got apologies today from Bob Cartwright, Martin Dowling, and from Janet Davey as well. Everybody else is present and correct. Cool. Okay, declarations of interest then. I can start. There's none that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
House there as well, no worries. Item number 4 then, if we go on to the Chairman's verbal update report. We've condensed this slightly from what we've had on the agenda for the last couple of months, just for a bit of clarity really, I guess, in terms of what we've got. So the Lake Grounds Change in Places facility, pleased to note that it's sort of relatively hot off the press. It's now operational, following some vandalism and some other bits and pieces that were needing to be arranged with it and the access to it. So now at least that is operational, and the information in regards getting access to it is actually on the door as well. It's actually managed, all of the Change in Places facility nationally managed by a charity. So if anybody needs access to it, you go through that charity, they validate you, and then you get the details that way. But yeah, pleased to say first and foremost that it's now operational, so that's good. We'll keep the BSIP Transport Hub on here for the next couple of months, certainly until we get the published plans from North Somerset. So it's just in regards the particular sort of transport hub, in essence, that hopefully will be sited somewhere in the town, which is most suitable for what it's going to be used for, and all of our residents as well. So as and when we get more information, we'll be able to feed that back. We're hoping that the first sort of tranche of suggestions and ideas of January, but yeah, so hopefully by the time that we get our next Community Matters meeting through, then yeah, we'll get an update on that. Last point in the verbal update is just around the councillor vacancy that we've got for Westward, and just confirmation that the by-election is taking place on the 5th of December. So I think by now all of the options of candidates and everything are all published as well. So so yeah, just again, just a point to note, it's the 5th of December. Item number 5, public participation. So yeah, we've got a number of members of the public, and we've got a couple online as well. So this is just to receive any information or updates from the public, or any statements or questions relevant to Portishead, which we will try and answer, given or necessary. If we need a written reply, that will come as soon as feasibly possible. You can always submit questions or statements in advance via the email as well, and then we can bring them to the fore in this agenda point as well. We've got quite a lot on the agenda, so we're hoping to be able to kind of limit each sort of resident in that sense to 5 minutes, and the total amount of time that we've got set aside for this slot is 30 minutes. But we'll see if we can rattle through a bit quicker. We've got quite a full agenda this month, because we haven't got our Community Matters meeting next month. But obviously, just if anybody does need to raise anything, continue to do that via email, or via any of your councillors as well. So can I open to the floor if there's anybody that has anything to? Ben, more than welcome.
Great question. Evening. Item 8, CCTV.
Yes.
The Lake Grounds.
Yeah.
Can we have some kind of clarity and background? And you know what I'm going to ask next? Why? It's North Somerset Council, it's nothing to do with the Town Council. Apart from the one piece of land the Town Council do have a lease on, which is the skate park and the park. That does have CCTV already there. That was a requirement of the planning consent and a police request.
So I've only been able to have a brief chat at the minute with Wendy, and the essence of the request really, I guess, is to add to our current provision. From our town council point of view, we've got, as you probably know, we've got all of the cameras under the one contract. This will cover the new change in places facility, which you just won't hear, but the update of the change in places facility down there as well, and to protect it as a community asset to a certain degree. So we'll, yeah.
I mean, basically, they not something I wanted because the current camera doesn't cover the changing places facility, and that's obviously very expensive equipment.
That's fine, but it's North Somerset land.
Yeah, so they're putting the camera, so it's S106 money that's paying for the camera, but remember we have to pay for the service. Yeah, so they're paying for the camera, but when the camera goes in, we have to pay for the ongoing service.
Well, not paying for the away through the S106 owns it, which is obviously money from the developers anyway. But my point is it just feels like, again, I get your point, Paul, I'm not to disagree, but the point is, again, we are paying again. Town council has imported residents twice for something that North Somerset should be funding. Yes, we pay contribution towards CCTV, because we agreed 2-3 years ago to put the new system in and contribute towards it, fine, but I don't agree with keep putting things on North Somerset land and we suffer. That's my point.
We paid for, the town council's paid for the CCTV service ever since the old cameras were put in.
Yeah.
So there's always been an agreement that the
And
North Somerset will provide the cameras, and then the various town councils, provide the service. It's like pro rata, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think was it us and Nancy paying sort of trunk grass for that we've got, haven't we? I think.
So I think I don't know the numbers. There was roughly 200 cameras in North Somerset, so the town councils pay for a pro rata. So obviously most of them say pay a bigger pro rata charge. So we've got to pay our. We've got 9.33 cameras or something, so we've got to pay whatever the percentage is. And that's just the way it's always been.
So the quarterly charge which we pay currently is for 4,060, and this one will be added to that sort of generalised sort of cover that we've got. But I think, given that we know we've had at least 2 episodes of vandalism on the change in places facility, it's definitely something that we need to get under watch, and as an asset for us, just for the location as well. So, but yeah, obviously we'll debate when the agenda item comes up if anybody else has got anything else to add. But Mike,
in light of the vandalism that's occurred on the Wyndham Way public toilets, is this camera also going to be covering the current toilets down on the lake grounds as well as the changing facility, the changing rooms?
Partially.
well, yeah,
Partially, but
Because the machine was vandalised recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. the coin machine was
it will cover
vandalised.
it partially, Mike. The only bit it won't cover is the sort of the old back entrance on this Esplanade Road. That's still a blind spot.
Has anybody else got anything? Obviously to the agenda items? No, I shall check. Gary or Lisa online, any other items to run through?
Nothing from me.
No, okay, thanks, Gary. Lisa, okay, no worries at all. Okay then, so we'll come on to agenda item number 6, which are minutes of the previous meeting. Hope everybody's had a chance to. I think we were all here as well, weren't we?
Yeah.
So that's fine. All okay, I can propose these. Give it a second. I shall sign at the end. Grace, thank you for that. And oh yeah, sorry, everybody. Oh yeah, we're kind of Tucker and everybody, but yeah, that's an official everybody. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 7, and these are our grant applications, which is it. We've got people here to join us to run through as well. So the first one that we've got is Portishead Carnival. So the Grants Working Party have recommended that the Town Council award the full grant requested to support the first year health and safety documentation and road closures signage maps, with the caveat that if for any reason there's any problems with the permissions from North Somerset Council, meaning the carnival can't go ahead, that half of the grant award is paid back. Also, the Town Council logo to be added to website and social, and any printed literature to show support from the Town Council. The grant application is attached. I know obviously some of us cross over on the Grants Working Party anyway, but for those that don't, is there anything that you wish to?
No, read it and it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anybody that wants to mention anything or anything further? Yeah. Okay, so the recommendation is that the Town Council award £7,680 to Portishead Carnival to support the cost for the health and safety documentation and the road closure signage maps. So I can propose that. David will second, and then if we can take a vote, that's a unanimous vote for the carnival. Excellent. Okay, second application that we've got is a £550 grant for Friends of Northwestern Woods Community Group. So again, the Grants Working Party have recommended to the Town Council to award the full grant requested to cover the cost of the hire of Northwestern Village Hall, 12 community group meetings, each lasting 12 hours, plus the consumables such as tea, coffee, biscuits, etc. We've got the grant application. Obviously, we've run through this one as the Grant Working Party, but is there any questions on this one?
Just ask, what's the proportion on the hall, at the hall hire, and what's the proportion on the tea, coffee and biscuits?
Yeah, okay.
So, 'cause you can't, should know really what the hall hire is.
Yeah, hang on. I can get the full details.
I mean, support the application. I think, it's great communities looking out for each other. But I don't think it gives any breakdown.
It probably doesn't, but I think, I don't know.
It's mainly the hall hire.
Oh, you've got that.
I think it's just mainly the hall hire. I think the tea and biscuits were a small add-on, weren't they?
Yeah.
Looking at this.
It's not broken.
Yeah.
If you look at the previous grant, obviously, because I can add to it, because I was there, I think you probably find 90+% of it is actually if you pay them the money, they put the dates on the hall and you get your money back again. So you actually, money doesn't really change hands.
Yeah.
So effectively, the tea and biscuits is nice to have, but from what Paul and the team do, and Nikki goes along as well, it's a fantastic job for what people go down there to do. It's fantastic. Personally, yeah.
And I think their aspiration is to be
Helps.
self-sustaining.
Odd tea and biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they, it's a discussion that we had with them last year, and obviously, we were supporting last year as well in that sense, and it is an aspiration to be sort of self-funding. But there's still plans really, I guess, afoot in terms of how they can get to that status and what it is that they need to do. I don't know if that's the 2023 one that you've got there, David, or not. Yeah. Okay. So the recommendation is that the Town Council award 550 to the Friends of Northwestern Woods Community Group to cover the cost of hiring the Northwestern Village Hall, the 12 community group meetings, plus consumables such as tea, coffee and biscuits. So again, I can propose that. Yeah, second, and us all in favour. It's unanimous again. Okay, the next one is the Portishead Junior Park Run. So this is to consider a grant application for the Portishead Junior Park Run. So in essence, the park run as a organisation requires a certain amount of money to be given to start up for the administration and all of the other bits and pieces. So 4,400 is already being raised, and we are looking to top that up to 4,800, which is the minimum to actually start this off. So the initiative, it's a great initiative. It's a 2K run, which will be down the lake grounds, and in essence, it will be kicking off in the spring. So
Just to let you know, I'm leading the project, so I thought I'd come along to
oh, thank you.
answer any questions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we've got a very brief summary in the agenda pack itself, but hopefully I've got everything right that I've just summarised.
You have,
Excellent. Okay.
absolutely.
No worries. Is there any questions or anything that we want to? Any other questions to ask? Just check, Mike. you wanna
Just
come
one,
in?
and that's, I understand that unfortunately adults can't be accommodated on the run circuit, which you're proposing at the moment, because it's too short. Is that correct?
What we can't do a full, because the adult park run is a 5K, and because of the limitations on a route that you have to have, it can't be crossing roads. It's got to be deal with several hundred people turning out on a Saturday. We've just not. We'd love to have a park run in Portishead, but we've just not identified a suitable route. Whereas with the junior one, it's only 2K, so basically 2 loops of the Esplanade is exactly 2K, starting from the open air pool, and that's the reason we've gone for the junior park run. So once this is just a setup cost, once we're into the process, we're on the park. We have our own website. Sorry.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
I was going to say, brilliant initiative, and it's great that you found £4,500 almost yourselves, and only asked the town council for 400 towards us. So fully supported. The only question I've got is just about potential for litter and waste around the lake grounds. Quite a sensitive issue, plastic blowing onto the seafront and so on and so forth. I don't think sort of bottled water and stuff's given out at park runs as a matter of routine.
No. I mean, we would expect to have about 20 volunteers every park run. And the last job, I think, before we put everything away, all the signage and everything else, would be to do a sweep and clear up litter and leave it as we found it. And probably cleaner than we found it on a Sunday morning.
We were liaising with community liaison manager Nikki, and just to get, but for one of your sessions, certainly just to see if we can get as many council representatives as we can to give you your volunteer numbers for.
Oh, fabulous.
So,
Well, we have 55 people on a WhatsApp group, 40 people who've volunteered in advance to fulfill the key roles. So yeah, it's very well supported.
Yeah. Ben,
I think echo Dave's. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think long overdue in Portishead, long overdue. So well done to you guys for doing it. I found out I know when he was sponsored on Monday, which is good. You thought about maybe the nature reserve as an option for a 5K one, a couple of laps of the nature reserve. So you can, I mean, I know you're not allowed on road, but in theory, you could argue with some sensible thinking and conversation with North Somerset Council, you could then get on that bit of Wharf Lane where you're literally on it for all of 40 yards and do the 2 loops and then come down around the reserve, down to Rain Gardens and then back round that way. It'd be relatively easily to police, I would have thought.
But it's believe you me, we've had so many discussions because we'd love to have a park run, and we think that it would be really well supported. If you look, I mean, if you just Google the park run, and route requirements, looking at it, my instinct is it doesn't fit in that. I mean, you've got to, Clevedon will regularly have 500 to 600 people.
Easy.
And I think that those are the numbers we would expect in Portishead too. So yeah, I'm really, I mean, I also chair Portishead Running Club. So we have a vested interest in more than one way. And we'd certainly consider any, but what I would suggest is if you're thinking of a route, have a look at the route requirements and see if it fits. I mean, if it doesn't fit, then they won't even look at it.
Is it really, I'm not up to it, hence the question, is it a really stringent, obviously roads is understandably.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't sort of quote it all to you, but it's got to be able to deal with the level of footfall. Certainly if it's going through an area where there's protected wildlife and there's lots of people tramping their way through there, then that could be an issue itself. It's got to be supported. So you know, if local people have got objections to it, then they've got to be able to air those objections. And I don't know, I just suspect there might be those as well. But yeah, I mean, please, let's maybe have another look at that. And
yeah, I mean, it's just a route that I do that as well. Obviously, I do Clevedon
and me as well.
I just turn it and just run it, but
Yeah,
it's fun. But yeah, if you obviously this will be going through the North Somerset events team, won't it? I'm assuming. Anyway,
I don't know.
yeah. So if you want any help with them, give me my details. But it's Ben Aldridge. You'll just
All right.
and I'm more than happy to help you with the events team. So I kind of got a good relationship with them.
Mike, you had
So I know what they
something?
want. So.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, Mary. Well, Mike and then Mariam and then, yeah.
Just in light of what Ben mentioned about not using the public highway, what actually is your route if you are circulating on the playground? You're not going to be able to avoid the route?
It's on the Esplanade, so it's effectively on the pavement, on the Esplanade.
But aren't they
itself,
doing
on the
a
pavement.
circle?
Yeah, so they'll stay either right or left. They'll go out one way. If you ever go to a junior park run, they string out very quickly because they're from age 4 to 14. So within 50 yards, they're almost single file. So they basically will start by the open air pool. They'll remain on the pavement, and they'll go it's actually just past the skate park, turn around, come back on the other side of the pavement,
Oh, okay.
turn around again and loop again. I know it's not the most imaginative circuits, and that's something I did take up. But apparently that's that's that type of loop that's most popular.
And you're aware, of
Kids
course,
don't come home with dirty shoes, and
you're aware, of course, that the sailing club do their yachting on the lake, don't they? On Sunday
yes,
morning?
yeah. So we don't at home. We know all the other activities that take place. I mean, it'll be 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. The average finish time is about 13 minutes. It will be done and dusted in about 20 minutes.
Oh, gosh, that's quick.
So yeah, 20 past 9. These children can run fast, but on average, 20 minutes, it's all done. The odd straggler maybe until 30 absolute max.
I think you pretty much answered most of my questions, but it was going to be the age range of the children and the capacity that you've got and how many children do you have space for?
Well, the Clevedon, which I think is probably the nearest comparator, there are junior park runs at Yatton, Nailsea, as well as and Weston, but Clevedon's gets between 30 and 70 on average. Parents also run with children, especially the smaller ones, so that the numbers are slightly greater than that. But as I say, they string out really, really quickly, and so they're single file. Within halfway down the Esplanade, they'll be pretty much single file. So yeah, those are the numbers we expect, which we think we can comfortably.
I think it's quite sensible to start on a really simple and basic route on your first park run, and then once it's established and you know what you're doing, kind of hopefully expand on it.
Yeah, no, and that's what's been suggested. And you can suggest a secondary route, for example, if the first one's not possible for whatever reason. We have a couple of ideas in mind, but that's something.
Good luck, because we're all rooting for you. I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
great.
So the recommendation is that the town council award the £400 for the Portishead Junior Park Run. Yep, we've got David, thank you, we've got Jenny, and we are all in favour. Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you very much.
I know, and thank you for the additional information as well. It's always interesting to know a little bit more about everything. So, okay, so that brings us on to agenda item number 8. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, if you wanted to.
I'll Scarper if that's all
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, no problem whatsoever.
Thank you.
No, that's fine.
Thank you for your help.
No problem. So agenda item number 8, the CCTV installation at the lake ground. So obviously we've had a few sort of comments and everything on this already, but this is to consider the cost of the installation and monitoring of the additional CCTV coverage in the changing places area at the lake grounds. Is at a cost of £1,740 per annum. It would be included in the service level agreement that we've currently got running with North Somerset Council to manage and monitor all of the CCTV that we've got around the town. So we currently pay £4,060 per quarter for the CCTV maintenance and monitoring. So any additional questions in effect? No, I think we've covered everything.
And sort of, the question that was raised, that Ben raised.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I mean, are there any alternatives? I can't think of is there a cheaper, easier way to do it? If there is something that
No,
gets us out of the situation you described, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, it's one of those necessary
It's
evils.
evil, it's yes, it's just.
Because every time it gets vandalised, that equipment is obviously being used by very disabled people.
Completely, I mean, it absolutely needs covering, it's in one way or another.
it's a deterrent, which, and I mean, CCTV has been brought up in various of the resident meetings that we've had across the course of this year. You know, in the nature of their efficiencies and, you know, what it is that they do as a deterrent and everything. And yeah, I mean, there are concerns about its effectiveness, but at the same time, if we don't have it and something does happen, then we've got nothing to fall back on. So, but as you said, I think it's a necessary evil. Yeah. Okay.
I know obviously there is the issue at the lake grounds because ours runs off actually a 4G mobile phone card effectively because the Wi-Fi down there is so poor. Would it be a possibility to maybe, instead of getting another one, get a better camera that monitors the skate parks, a full 360 one that's a better link system? I've seen the pictures on our one, they're more than good enough, but I'm not going to say too much more than that because if there's eyes listening on here that don't want to hear what we know, or I know. But would it be a possibility of putting in a better quality camera instead of putting in a second one, better quality, they can pick up more that way? Instead of, for me, it's a cost issue per se. I get we need CCTV, I get we need to stop things being vandalised. Maybe bring back better policing and better punishments, not just banging them up in Borstals or whatever, but proper punishment that we used to get when you was a police beat officer and you daren't step out of line, you need to be a clip around the back of your ear kind of thing. I'm not suggesting clips around here for 1 minute, but people back then, we had respect for the police, now there's none. So that's why we have to put CCTV in. But is there an option to look at a better quality camera instead of putting a second one in? It's just a suggestion, just a question. I'm not, you know.
Yeah, we could
There's
investigate.
going to be a cost, either way, there's going to be a cost incurred. So if you're going to incur a cost, which obviously I'm slightly against because North Somerset are using S106 money, it's not their money, it's our money, the town's money from development in this town. So they can do what they want. And they've already proven North Somerset, it's Paul will vouch for, they don't use it very well, do they, Paul? Football club. So can we just make sure that if it's being used wisely and we're actually putting in the right kit and not just something just because?
Yeah, we haven't got a recommendation on the agenda as such. As to what, but if we,
I spoke to Colin Russell's the officer. I know he's a very good officer. So he would have, I'm pretty sure he would have specified the right equipment because I know he went down there and looked around. But I mean, you can obviously, if it's Colin, you need to go back to double check.
Yeah, I think what we will do, just for expediency really, if we agree the cost, the 1740, and move forward with that. If there is any other alternative or any other equipment that could be used up to that value, or you know, an upgrade of the existing camera up to that value, and then if there's anything exceeding that, we'll come back. Yeah.
Yep.
Is everybody, yeah. Okay, I can propose that. Oh,
Yep.
Got a hand raised online as well. Rob, think you all mute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just to explain that Ben's correct. We could upgrade it to a 360 tracking system, which would be far better, especially at night, because it will automatically track any movement. And I believe the system is not that much more expensive.
Okay, so so we'll do as thanks, Bob. So we'll do that then. Yeah, we'll agree the cost up to what we've got in the agenda, so 1,740. And then we'll go and see if there's anything else that we can do. So I'll propose that. And David will second, and
I can send Colin Russell an email because I was on the trail.
Okay, so that's everybody, David will follow up with Colin.
That's fine, because basically the maintenance costs, well, it's independent of whichever camera, so that cost will be the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
Whatever you end up with.
Oh, okay. So agenda item number 9 was the additional equipment that we needed for the DIAS. So obviously, given that it all round, I guess, proved far more successful this year to have the equipment that we purchased, there was a couple of additional items that we need just to make it more safe and more usable in future. We have actually got an amendment to the price that we've got in the agenda, which I'll run through in a second. But Ben, I know you just wanted to just run through that, or is there anything else that you want to add to it?
I mean, I know whoever was at full council the other week, I can't remember, to be honest. Been to sleep at least 2 hours between. So we really appreciated the stage this year, and it works way better than what we expected. Like, it was phenomenal, and the feedback that we've had from councillors, residents, the guys that went up on there, etc., was just like, wow, this was so good. People would actually see people, and what was so nice is the fact that everybody in that parade got a salute from front to finish. Everybody got the salute, which is the first one that we've, bearing in mind this year was our 3rd year we've helped put it on the RBL. It was epic, it was brilliant, and even people waited for Arthur, young Arthur and old Arthur, to get in the car, and he got a round of applause all down the high street. So it kind of it achieved way beyond what we expected with it. But what we did obviously notice by doing what we did this year is the fact that the 2 people at the back, we put them at the back deliberately because they were these young ones. So if they did go, it's not going to hurt quite so much. We didn't obviously want anyone to go, but we don't want to take that risk. Obviously, this ultimately, it's on my neck because I write the risk assessment for the event. So it was a calculated risk, and we knew what the risks would be. We mitigated them as safe as we possibly could. By putting on an extra batch at the back, we can then still put 5 people on the stage every year, whether that's war veterans or RBL members or council members, whatever. We can do it safely. And then I was talking to Barclay last week for a bit of a debrief on the event, and he said, well, if we get the extra stage, what about having 2 pieces at the bottom of Stoke Road? So when did we call out the names, the 101 names that lost resident supporters had, they can't ever get above the stage. And the reason for that request and question was the feedback is from all the veterans and serving police, fire ambulance, etc., attending up Stoke Road, they actually can't see anything. They can hear it a little bit, but they can't see it. So by putting them up by 2 feet, it actually they're now to see it. So we're bringing more people into the event again, and they kind of would really appreciate that. So it creates us as an organiser a bit of a logistical headache, but it's a headache that we can probably deal with a couple of paracetamol and we can get rid of it, kind of thing. So that's about the reason why. So it's 4 new stage decks, 2 extra 2-metre handrails, I think a couple of 1-metre handrails, a new set of steps because our fault, novices, there's 2 sets of steps which we didn't realise on the website, and they don't actually tell you what stage they fit properly. So we got the step, which is a ludicrous amount of money for 1 piece of metal as it was. It's ridiculous. Which we are going to get. You are going to get the money back on. They've agreed to refund that. And we're getting the right steps coming in as well. So they just don't tell you on the website that this step isn't right for this stage setup. It's just not obvious. Which I looked at it when to put it up on the Sunday one thinking, hey, I'm not totally stupid, but this doesn't fit. So we worked around it that day. So it just works. And, you know, I think it should stay in Tudor Garage. Feedback is, Paul spoke to me on the way out and he's asked us, could we possibly enhance the sound system on it? I mean, which is the question, I know we're digressing a bit, but it's part of the whole thing. It's for the presentation, which is important. Yes, we can, but there would be a cost. And you're in the realms of £500 or so extra. It sounds a lot just for putting another couple of speakers in, but it's actually not. It's the time and the logistics. Because the reason why we don't put it beyond where we put it is it's a dead zone. that area between Imperial Lounge, I think I said it before, between Imperial Lounge and Oceans just dies, nothing gets around the corner. And the promised provision of Wi-Fi didn't come in to the town in that area to push it through, which we could have piggybacked. So it would have to be fully wired. So you're running again in probably another hour or so at least, setting up another hour or so, taking down to run cables round the curve where it's safe and get extra set of speakers up. So it's all doable. The same as everything, there's always a cost to everything, isn't there? But stage wise, it would just help us massively.
No, it makes perfect sense. So I've got the correct numbers here, which I'll read out, and then we will, when we put the minutes together, we'll just make sure that that's in there. So the recommendation that we've got is that the committee approves the purchase of the additional equipment for the dais, the barriers for the rear of the staging, and a larger, wider step. So the total cost is £1,949.93. But we've got on top of that a credit, which Ben's just referred to, of £149.98. So the actual total cost that we're approving is £1,799.95. So £170, a little more than what's in the agenda itself. But so I can propose that if there's anybody will second, and we are all in favour. We are all in favour.
Thank you.
And as you said, that will just make sort of everybody's. It will just enhance everything that we do with
We
the.
can make a presentation better. So on behalf of the Christmas Lights, obviously events team and the RBL, thanks for that. It is appreciated. The support is appreciated because we can't do it without the support. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So we'll have the conversation in the new year regarding the sound system and take it from there.
Yeah.
So because I know there's a budget allowed at the last meeting, but we need to have a sensible conversation around it about how far we push this, because we've got a very limited window to make sure the event can happen from 11:15 onwards.
Yeah, indeed.
On my observation from standing outside Tudor Garage was that the sound system was absolutely adequate for getting up to there. The issue was more the fact that parts of the high streets further down the sound didn't reach. Weren't aware that stuff was being said over loudspeakers, so there was a lot of chatter and babble, and which was nice to hear.
Exactly what I said to Ben after the event on that. So you could tell, because basically everyone was looking that way, and all the other people over there were just sort of talking, and they didn't know what was
So
going
you could deal with it by just saying, can you just keep quiet now?
on. I think it would.
It'd be a problem. I think if you look at what was going on, it's not just the event going on again this year. What it is, but it's the third year we've had issues with health people, which is really unfortunate, and thank goodness they're all okay. One in particular was really quite serious. But obviously when that's all cracking off and I've got to try and drag an ambulance through, and I'm running around like a chicken and someone else.
Gary's on there, Mr. 12.
Problematic, if you know what I mean. So it's, I think the only way to do it, as I was saying to Paul, is more speakers, because there is no feedback. They talk to each other directly. So you don't need any feedback. Nothing. It's such a good system that North Bristol PA provide to us at such a ridiculously cheap cost compared to others. I can't see any other way of doing it.
It needs to get
got an idea of all the
attention, I think, doesn't it? Really.
So we can bring it to the committee in the new.
Yeah, we will do. Yeah.
Look at it. Let me just get Christmas out of the way and the lights down. I'm just kind of. But ultimately, let's have a conversation kind of end of January time and just kind of see where we go, because I do need to start planning it for next year, believe it or not, in January. So we just need to make sure we're kind of ready, and what we're going with is what we're going with.
We'll either pick it up in community matters in January or town council before that. Yeah, okay, one way or the other.
Well, I can get Barclay along, and both of us can talk to it and help you guys along and just explain, so we can come a bit on with information.
Yeah,
and then just see what you think and we'll take it from there. We'll do ultimately whatever you want us to do within reason, but obviously, just if you think back just to one point, is time, and the PA system was starting to set up at 6:30 on the Sunday morning. I was down there from 7. So we can't really go much early because we can't test the system either until I think about 8:20. I think I got woken up
They might.
Yeah. So just have things in your head, fine, and ideas, any ideas are welcome, but just make sure we kind of temper the ideas and be realistic.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. We are skipping item number 10 because we haven't got all of the quotes in that we need to be able to make any recommendation for the Cube Climber service matting at Mead Road. So we'll pick that up now in January. Yeah. So we are on to item number 11, which is the planting of tree whips at Gertie Gales allotment. So this is to sort of support, really, I guess, making a natural hedge. So we've got the report in the full pack. I don't know if anybody's had time to have a quick look. Any comments?
I've been in, because I'm the link person for the allotments, and I've been down and taken a look, and I've spoken with the chair, and it seems to me a very, very sensible idea. The only they do have, Gertie Gales has a boundary with the cemetery, and actually there's always an issue, I'd say, in trying to keep those trees cut back, and they're not usually cut back enough, and these whips actually are going to be probably underneath the trees. But it'll be, and it's going to be completely mixed hedgerow. They're not having to pay anything for it. It's going to help with the drainage. It's obviously going to encourage wildlife, and they already have quite a lot of rabbits and hedgehogs and slugs and all the rest of it on the allotment. But it just makes and they've committed to the upkeep, to looking after it and doing all the work on it. So I can't see why you would want to reject
cost or anything. No, indeed. So from the recommendation is to approve the planting of the whips of Gertie Gales allotment, create a natural hedge on the site of Clevedon Road. So I can, David proposing, seconding, and that's us all. Lovely, unanimous. Excellent. Okay, so this is probably not as straightforward. So item number 12. So North Somerset Council Cultural Audit and Action Plan. So the Town Council has received the following communication from North Somerset Council. During the early part of 2024, North Somerset Council commissioned a cultural audit and action plan for North Somerset. The work involved the consultation across North Somerset, and the final version is attached. There's an online, we've got the electronic version of the agenda. There's an online link there. In response to some of the findings and in collaboration with a number of organisations, North Somerset Council are planning to submit a funding application to the Arts Council for around £750,000 to their Creative People and Places programme. We have formed a consortium of the following organisations, which are Alliance Housing as the lead organisation, Superculture, which is a national portfolio organisation based in Weston, Race Equality North Somerset, and Trigger, who is another national portfolio organisation based in Blagdon. Associates to that sort of consortium include North Somerset Council and Weston Town Council. So the programme will be a significant avenue to develop the cultural ecosystem of North Somerset. It will require cultural stakeholders to work together to submit a bid, as well as collaborating during the 3-year delivery period. If they're successful, the funding we could get from the Arts Council will make a significant impact on grassroots culture by empowering communities and developing partnerships. We are required to provide we as in North Somerset Council are required to provide 50% match funding. So we estimate this to be £112,500 for the 3-year period. Although we would only believe we would need to show match for the first year at this time, which is around £37,500. Would the Town Council consider contributing any match funding towards our application? Any amount would be welcome. So our consideration here is to see whether the Town Council would be able to contribute to the Creative People and Places programme. So as it stands, we don't really know what the amounts are that they are going to get, what amounts that the other organisations are likely or due to commit to. And obviously we already know that we are pretty strapped in terms of where we are, and also with our plans, including the hall's renovation for the next 3 years at least. I'm not sure at the moment we're in any position to commit to anything, certainly not from a funding perspective, until at least we are post budget conversations and we get that past full-time council in January. So I'm not really sure whether there is anything that we can do now.
I did a, I should speak. I was
Go ahead.
rooting around, sorry. And the deadline for this is the 16th of January.
Yeah, which is before next full-time council, yeah. So
I had a quick chat with Nikki about it as well, and she wasn't aware of it. I wondered why, for example, they hadn't approached Artport to be one of their partners.
yeah,
And I think as a town council, we do invest in Artport. We've invested in the sculpture trail maps. Putting money into this without the risk of not getting a return from Nottinghamshire Council seems a bit risky to me. But I think we could at least highlight to the team putting together the bid that there are some things going on in Portishead that they might want to put into their bid to strengthen it.
Yeah.
I guess the more strengthened by saying what goes on in Portishead, the less likely it is for stuff to come our way. But which seems a shame not at least to highlight the things that we do here.
Yeah, I think we can provide support. I think we can provide, sort of access to organisations that are already working within Portishead within the same sort of cultural sort of, sort of ecosystem as they kind of done it. But I'm not sure we can do anything. Sorry, was that?
Well, I was just going to say, in terms of echoing David's comments, really, are we likely to be beneficiaries of this? We don't know. Or are we just part of the great good for the benefits of the residents of North Somerset? It's difficult to assess this, and I can't disagree with you, Emma, that the financial situation doesn't bode well for this sort of thing, really, sadly.
Just the other thing is that we believe they only need to do it for the first year of the energy knows. So it's like you're putting it into a pot, but you don't really know how big the pot is. So it's like you need to be a bit more definitive about everything about it, really.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, I mean, it's probably a good thing. Do we want to put money into something that that is going to only support what goes on in Weston-super-Mare? Definitely not. That's maybe not the ask here, and it's a little unclear as to what the ask is. I think what I'd like to see us do is to point out, as you said, the things that go on in Portishead, to point out that we're in line with the principle of supporting this type of thing, but we'd like more information before we would commit an actual figure.
Yeah.
And that sort of leaves us open to, it's a great idea. If you want to include us, good. We might then, when we know what you're going to do, we might then put something behind that.
Yeah.
Just to leave the door open more than anything.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So the recommendation is to consider whether the town council will be able to contribute to the Creative People and Faces programme. Yes, maybe.
If we have some
more information. Do we have somebody?
Oh.
Yeah. Is that hand up or down? Was that our hand? That's our hand. It's our hand. No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we are moving on to item number 13, which is the quarterly report from the Citizens Advice North Somerset. Has anybody had time to run through that? Got the pack there, haven't we? Any points to note or anything that
It's a very good and comprehensive report.
it always is. It's a good, yeah.
And I guess it highlights the good work that they do in our community.
And still the need for the support that CANS are providing our residents.
Definitely the need, yes.
Yeah, they've seen 17 more people this year than last year. So
yeah, it's still
going up.
even though incremental, it's still enough, isn't it? Okay, so the next couple of things are more or less all points to note, but all still relatively important. Item number 14 is the Bristol Wind Terminal. So to note the development of Bristol Wind Terminal, and there's a website address there, which is www.bristolport.co.uk/energy transition hub, if I can put my teeth back in. So this is mainly just a note to us, just to note the development, and there's more information at that website address and the information on the actual location itself. Item number 15, which is sign up for North Somerset Citizens Panel. So it's to note that North Somerset have a citizens panel, and they're invited people who live, work or study within North Somerset to join that panel. And there's more information on the North Somerset Council consultations page under sign up to North Somerset Citizens Panel. So again, that's just a note in essence, if any of our residents wish to enact that and be part of shaping decision making and sort of policy and everything. Yeah, no worries. We saw it in that time.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry. Are we there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to ask. Could we actually put that on the council website and the Facebook site? I think it's a very good idea for the citizens panel. I've attached my name already to it. It's quite easy to do, so it's not really complicated at all.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, we've already talked with Amy about all of those things. So it is in our communication plans, Bob. So, but yeah, we'll just make sure that when we wrap up for one of the other agenda items, we'll add that onto it just to make sure it's in the communication plan following this meeting as well.
Thanks very much.
No worries. And the next one, item 16, and this is probably a really important consultation that's happening at the moment. And it's North Somerset's consultation on the continuation of their council tax, or the level of the council tax support that they offer. So the consultation started on the 15th of November and runs until the 3rd of January. And it's the proposed changes which North Somerset Council, North Somerset Council's council tax support scheme is able to offer. So in effect, this is the offset, the kind of the top up, the allowance that North Somerset pay to residents who are on other sort of means tested benefits as well. I think they spend £12 million of their budget on this particular allowance, and they're looking to obviously sort of cut the cloth accordingly, really. So if anybody is aware of anybody that receives this benefit, or this is definitely one of the things that we should sort of publicise as widely as we should do. So from us, it's just a note to say that the consultation is live and it's currently running up until the 3rd of January, and for people to make their opinions known. Agenda item number 17 is the Cycle Forum. So it was here last time. It's now in the Town Hall in Weston for the next quarterly meeting, and that's going to be held on Tuesday, the 10th of December from 6 until 8. It's being hosted in the Rickford Room Town Hall. It's just our recommendation to note the date and time. We've got contact information if people want any more information, or so we could let people know that they are going. But
I attend these meetings.
Yeah.
And I will be attending this one.
Brilliant.
They're public meetings, Mike.
They are.
Well, yes.
By invite.
Not much.
Yeah. There's not a lot of public attendance, but they are open to the public. We just need to let we've got sort of an invite.
There is a member of the public from Portishead who attends regularly as well.
Yeah. Item number 18 is our signposting and referral service officer update. Has everybody managed to? Yeah. Any comments or anything for Claire? Anything to? pass back, numbers are still as healthy as usual, if that's the right way to put it. Yeah, it's busy, isn't it? And obviously she's settling in now to the new location at the library, and all of that's going fine.
Very popular.
Yeah, so yep.
Just one headline observation is that when you compare what the CAB report is doing and what the signposting referral officer is, people that they're seeing, or the reasons they're seeing people, they are slightly different things.
Yeah.
So we do actually having both. I think we're covering most bases, which is good, because one without the other, there would definitely be a gap.
Yeah, you're right. It's and I guess as what Claire does is more adaptable as well. Do you know what I mean, in terms of the kind of the frameworks that can operate under.
Personalised?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
the right
completely
word?
bespoke, isn't it?
Bespoke, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Item number 19 are thank yous, and to note that the town council officers and members have received a thank you from the organisers of the Royal British Legion Remembrance Parade for the funding, assistance with the organising and the attendance of the event. So that's a thank you to everybody there. Item number 20 is just a roundup of our committee communication. So just general agreement as to which items from the agenda are going to be published by our comms manager. So as I said, I think from my perspective, I'd like the council tax consultation to be on there specifically. We've got whole
The three grants.
Yeah.
I was going to say carnival.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
I think it's the
definitely.
important one to get out there.
I think if we do the three grants, because I think for each of those, sort of the publicity for each of the three of them would be good as well. And
Do them separately.
Yes.
Not each one,
Yes,
just to give a
we
little bit
will.
of background and context. It's interesting for people to know more about it.
yeah, definitely.
Signing up for the citizen panel should be
Yes.
publicised there.
Yeah, that is, as I said, that was in our resident roundup as well, so. Yep. Is that okay? Yeah, cool, excellent, okay, thanks for that, everybody. So date of next meeting, which is Wednesday, the 22nd of January, 7:30, up here, I presume, if nothing changes. And then item number 22, which gives us the exclusion of public and press. So under the Public Bodies Admissions Meeting Act 1960, members of the public and press are required to leave the meeting at item 22 due to the items being confidential matters, confidential contractual obligations. So our recommendation is that the councillors agree to exclude the public and press. So I will remember. We've got a second from Leader, Roger and David. And if we are all in agreement, that one? Yes, Jenny as well, we're all there. So meeting is closed at 20.